Hello, I'm Mrs. Amadimo and this is Penny. Welcome to our video. This one is on measurement. We're going to be focusing on telling time to the hour and to the half hour. Let's get started. All right, my friends, first thing we're going to do is review what we talked about yesterday. So this is called the face of the clock. That's the part that has the numbers and the hands. These are the hands. Does anyone remember what this long hand's name is? If you said minute hand, you're correct. This is the minute hand. It's going to point and tell me the minutes. And what's this short hand called? Do you remember? Penny, what's the short hand called? Penny says this is called the hour hand, and she's right. Now, the way we read the clock, my friends, is we look and see where the hour hand is pointing, and if the minute hand is pointing straight up, we say o'clock. Do you remember from yesterday? You do. Good. So for this one, what time would it be? Yes, it would be 4 o'clock. Now, things we also need to know. On this kind of clock, it's called an analog clock. The hands turn this way. They call this clockwise. So if you're looking straight at a clock, it's like each number has to go to the next number as it works its way around. So that's what they're talking about when they say clockwise. And each one of these numbers, if you're looking at the minute hand, stands for an increment of 5. So we've got to count by 5s. Let's try it. Ready? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Now it doesn't say 60. You remember why it doesn't say 60? You're right, because there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. Put that in your brain. We're going to ask you again. How many minutes are in an hour? Yes, there are 60 minutes in an hour. So right now, this clock is showing 4 o'clock. Let's try another one. What time is it showing now? If you said 7 o'clock, you're correct. I'm going to try a few more with an actual analog clock, and you can tell me your answers. What time do you think this clock says? If you said 4 o'clock, you are correct. What time is shown on the clock now? If you said 7 o'clock, you are correct. Can you read this clock? What time is shown? If you said 10 o'clock, you are correct. All right, my friends, now we're starting on our new topic for today. We start with the essential question. Let me read it the first time and then you read it with me the second time. Here we go. How do you tell time to the half hour? Read it with me this time. How do you tell time to the half hour? What should I do next? What should I do? Penny, what should I do next? Penny says I have to write an I can statement. She's right. How does it start, my friends? And what's the rule about that word you're telling me to write? Yes, that word I has to start with a capital letter. I, and I'm not going to use this marker because it's clearly out of ink. Let's try it again. I can. How do I spell that little word can? You're right. It's C-A-N. Tell. T-E-L. What do you hear? Yes. T-E-L-L. Time. Let me hear you. T-I-M. And what is making that I say its name? Yes, you're right. E. Time. To. T-O. The. You know this word. Half. Half. It's right up here. I can borrow it. H-A-L-F. Hour. H-O-U-R. And what goes at the end of that sentence? Correct. I need a period. All right, my friends, let me read it the first time and then you read it with me the second time. I can tell time to the half hour. Your turn. I can tell time to the half hour. So what does that mean? Well, I'm going to erase this and then I'm going to show you. All right, my friends, I've just drawn this clock and you can tell by looking at it. The minute hand's pointing straight up at 12, so I'm going to say o'clock. And the hour hand's pointing at what number? What number do you see? Yes, it's pointing at the 5. So this is 5 o'clock. Right now it's showing you 5 o'clock. Now, my friends, what I want you to use your imagination, because I don't have a clock that I can do this on big to show you. I want you to use your imagination. Pretend this hand is going to come all the way down here till it's pointing at the 6. It's going to come all the way down here so that it's pointing at the 6. And I left my eraser over there. So I'm just going to erase my hands and rewrite them the way I want you to imagine. So my minute hand is now pointing straight down at the 6. And my hour hand is pointing halfway in between the 5 and the 6. Now, that halfway in between is important. If you think of the clock as a circle, 12 o'clock would be up at the top, the 12 would be up at the top, and the 6 would be down at the bottom. What's happening is that minute hand is going from up here at the 12, and it's coming all the way around to down here at the 6. So if I think of this as being half the circle, it helps me understand why people are going to say half past. All right? I got a whole bunch of heads shaking no. It's okay, I'm going to explain it. But if you think of the clock as being a circle, it's gone from pointing at the 12, the minute hand, to pointing at the 6. And they call it half past. So my friends, this one is showing half past and then my friends, I've got to look and see what's it half past. And remember, clockwise we're going this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's past the 5. Has the hour hand gotten to the 6 yet? Shake your head no. No, it hasn't. So we're going to say it's half past 5. That's the way we would read this. And then, my friends, you're probably more familiar with the way they like to write this. And this would be, we would write this time as 5:30. What do we think? I got a whole bunch of heads shaking no. All right, my friends, let me erase this and we'll try another one. All right, my friends, I've switched back to our clock on chart paper so that we can look at it. Now, what time do you think this one's showing? Well, first thing I hope you notice is the minute hand's pointing down at the 6. And we just talked about if it's pointing down at the 6, we're going to say half past or we're going to say 30. And then we have to figure out where our hour hand is pointing. And if you look, see how it's not pointing at the 8, it's not pointing at the 9. It's halfway in between the 8 and the 9. So now we've got to figure out what time to say. So we can say, it's not here, it's not pointing at the 8, it's halfway in between the 8 and the 9. If it's halfway in between, remember, clockwise goes like this. So you're going to pick the number you hit first when you're moving clockwise. All right, my friends, so we would read this as half past 8, or you could say 8:30. Both would be correct. Let's try another one. All right, my friends, I've written our new one. What do you think? What time do you think it is? Yes, you've noticed the minute hand is pointing down at the 6. That means we're either going to say half past or 30. And where is the hour hand pointing? That's the next thing we've got to look at and figure out. All right, my friends, I see you looking. So it's right here. It's not pointing at the 10. It's not pointing at the 11. It's pointing halfway in between the 10 and the 11. So now I have to figure out which one I'm going to say. As I go clockwise around the clock, I'm going to stop at the number I come to first out of these two. So what is it pointing? What is that number? What am I pointing at? Yes, 10. So we would read this as half past 10 or 10:30. That's the way we would read this. Half past 10 or 10:30. How are you feeling about this, my friends? Thumbs up. I got it, Miss Amodimo. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Thumbs to the side. I'm figuring it out. I'm not completely sure, but I'm trying. Thumbs down. I'm not so sure about this, Miss Amodimo. Okay, it's okay if you're not so sure about it, my friends. This is day 2. You got to give me at least 3 days before you decide you can't do it, because you and I both know you can totally do this. You've got some talent with it. We're going to switch to paper and then try a few that way. All right, my friends, I have switched to paper. Let me read the directions to you, and then you read them with me the second time. Directions, draw the hands to show the time. Read it with me this time. Directions, draw the hands to show the time. This first one says 12:30, 12:30. Now, if it's this 30, we know that means it's the minute hand, the long one, is pointing at the 6. So I'm going to draw my minute hand pointing down at this 6. So that's my 30 part. Now for 12, it's got to be halfway in between because this 30 means it has to be halfway. So I'm going to start at my 12 and I'm going to go clockwise, and halfway between my 12 and the 1 is right here. So I'm going to draw my hour hand, my short hand, pointing halfway in between the 12 and the 1. And this clock now shows 12:30. Let's try the next one. 5:30. 5:30. Let's do the 30 first. What number does the 30 point at? Penny, what number does the 30 point at? Penny says that we need to have the minute hand pointing at the 6. She's right. That's what the minute hand does on the 30. And then for the 5 part, my friends, so we're going to go to the 5 and we're going to go clockwise. Remember, starting at the 12, going this way is clockwise. And halfway between the 5 and the 6, right here, is going to be that 5:30. We're going to draw our hour hand, and our hour hand is our short hand. Make sure you can tell that it's shorter. And now this clock shows 5:30. All right, my friends, try the next one. Try the next one. We've got 9:30, 9:30. Again, where does the minute hand point for 9:30? Yes, the minute hand's got to put down at the 6 for 9:30. That minute hand's got to point down at the 6 for 9:30. And then again, we're going to move clockwise, 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 clockwise. Here's the 9, and halfway between 9 and 10 is going to be 9:30. So there's my halfway between, and I'm going to draw my hour hand, my short hour hand, pointing halfway between the 9 and the 10. So this clock shows 9:30. All right, my friends, here's 1:30, 1:30. Again, oh, you're already telling me. 30 means my minute hand is pointing down at this 6. That's my 30. And 1:30 means here's my 12. We're going to go clockwise. Here's my 1, here's my 2. So halfway between 1 and 2 is going to be 1:30. And I'm going to draw my hour hand pointing in. My hour hand pointing in so that you can see it's pointing halfway between the 1 and the 2. And this is what the clock looks like for 1:30. All right, my friends, I'm going to get it so you can see all of the problems. Pause the video and try the rest of this page on your own. All right, my friends, how did you do? I hope you didn't get fooled down on the bottom where it switched to saying 1/2 If you look, I wrote the time for 7:30 is just another way of saying 7:30. 10 is just another way of saying 10:30, and so on. All right, my friends, Penny and I have one question for you before we go. How many minutes are in an hour? Do you remember? I hope you said 60. I'm going to ask you that question again tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.